and welcome to Good Game, the show for gamers, by gamers, and our very first episode for the year. I'm Junglist.
And I'm Bajo. New opening titles, new chairs, kind of. And for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, your one and only source of federally funded fragging will be running all year.
That's it. We'll be bringing you news, reviews, developer interviews, and gaming culture right up until about Christmas time.
I'm excited, but first, Jung, how were your holidays, and did you keep up your video diaries?
You know, I did, but more on that later. Coming up in the show, a sequel to last year's Skate, the imaginatively titled Skate 2.
I don't know how many orcs I've killed as Aragorn or Legolas, but now, finally, a game that lets me chase the One Ring on the side of Sauron. Lord of the Rings Conquest is here, and it's good to be bad.
Plus, hopefully, the worst game that we'll see all year. But first, can you name the game for this week? If in doubt, follow your nose.
News time, Junkie, go! It's that way. 43 to go.
Good game! Tecmo, the developer behind games like Ninja Gaiden and the Dead or Alive series, has set its sights on a merger with fellow game developer Koei, who are best known for the Dynasty Warriors series. The announcement comes just months after the creator of Dead or Alive, Tomonobu Itagaki, along with a number of other Tecmo employees, initiated lawsuits with the troubled company over unpaid wages. Tecmo shareholders had previously rejected an offer to merge with Final Fantasy developers Square Enix, but they gave the go-ahead on this most recent offer. Australian game publisher Red Ant has gone into receivership following investment troubles resulting from the recent global financial crisis, despite having released one of the best-selling games of last year, Fallout 3. Red Ant was responsible for the local distribution of games from many high-profile international developers, including Capcom, Fallout 3's Bethesda Softworks, and Konami. It's still unclear whether or not these events will delay the release of games like Street Fighter IV and Resident Evil 5, which were both set to be published by Red Ant in the early part of this year. One thing that is known, however, is that all future Konami games will not be delayed, with the Japanese company quickly returning to Atari Australia to handle their local releases. According to video game statistics site VGCharts.com, Nintendo's Wiimote wangling workout, Wii Sports, has scored itself a place in the record books. The sports simulation has sold more than 45 million copies worldwide, one for every Nintendo Wii console sold, making it the highest-selling game of all time. The game bumped the original Super Mario Bros. From the top spot, which has sold around 40 million copies since it launched almost a quarter of a century ago in 1985. In comparison, it took Wii Sports around 2 years to surpass it. Good game! So I'm keen to see what you got up to over the break, Badge.
And are you, John?
Let's roll it.
All right. Now I have some recreational gaming time on my hands. I think I'm going to start with Fallout 3. I've tailed off the main story a little bit, but I want to see how this whole thing pans out. Well, hour 60 into Fallout 3, I have a new hat and pants, and I'm finished. The last mission is awesome sauce. Robots are cool, that's all I'll say. But I'd kind of feel like the amount of time I've spent in this game should have had a bigger ending, you know, a bigger cutscene maybe. However, there is downloadable content on the way, so I'm hoping for a mechanical horse.
All right, video diary number 1. Welcome to the Situation Room. This is my co-commander in crime, Messiah. It's been a big season. We've had some big reviews on FIFA and N-War, and I'm just keen to get into some new stuff. Should be fun.
Hector!
Good link up. Fantastic chance.
Hey! If you're up 3-0, clap your hands.
Well, something could be on here. Well, he's trying to lob the goalkeeper.
Hey, hey!
This guy's a defender. I can't stop playing FIFA and N-War. In fact, I've taken the liberty of making a little chart to illustrate my time spent since about 5 p.m. on Friday. Here we have N-War, there's FIFA, and the other category is unimportant stuff like sleep, personal hygiene. And so far it's been great. The FIFA live updates are a little bit dodgy so far. They're supposed to update the game according to how the players have been doing in real life. Take this guy, for example, Rio Ferdinand. He's had a back injury for like the last 2 weeks, but he must be amazing because he's maintaining an 82 out of 100 rating from his hospital bed.
And there'll be more of that later in the show.
Good game.
For all y'all enjoyment, a song y'all can step with. Y'all appointed me to bring rap justice, but I ain't 5-0 y'all.
When Skate came out a bit over a year ago, it breathed some life into a stale genre of skateboard simulation.
Skate 2 has some new features. New San Van has toughened up on skaters, but fling a little money towards your friends and they can take care of security for a little while, and even remove the caps on rails and stairs.
Much like the first, you'll spend a lot of your time meandering around the world looking for spots to own and empty swimming pools to skate. You can also skitch your way around town now, and this comes in handy for getting up that extra speed to beat those improvised trick events.
If you get tired of tricking, one way to earn cash is by performing spectacular bails. The more damage you do to yourself and the objects around you, the more cash you get. Bailing is also useful for resetting your position in trick events if you get stuck on a corner.
True, the number of times I had to stack it on steps on purpose just to reset in the first skate. The city has more colour and interesting landmarks to skate on, but the fisheye effect can get a bit distracting on a small screen or an LCD screen, and I would have liked some more HUD options.
Still, Badge, it's pretty good you can get off your skateboard, which was a big missing feature in the first one.
Another welcome addition, though, is being able to create your own skater spot. You can then upload this to the rest of the world. But it's implemented quite awkwardly, so even just getting off your skateboard and moving something and then walking back a few paces is completely wonky-donkey.
Wonky-donkey.
It's a new phrase I'm trying to get out there. It means awkward for no reason.
Good luck with that. If you played the first skate, the new stuff probably won't be enough to drag you into a sequel, but it is a better game. I'm giving it 8 out of 10 Skitchin' Chickens.
I found that there weren't enough reference tools in there for me to understand exactly what all the tricks were asking me to do. I found myself having to do web searches to work out what they were talking about. I still enjoyed it, but I tired of it a lot quicker than the first one. I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
You weren't very cool in school, were you, Badge?
I like to think I was ahead of the curve.
Good game.
Weren't we supposed to be doing that thing for good game?
If they think that I'm doing anything before I get to this next save point, they are sorely mistaken.
But they kind of needed it now-ish.
Fine.
All right, Jung, new game. Are you ready? All right, here's the press release. Interpol, the trail of Dr. Chaos. Track down the evil and destructive fugitive Dr. Chaos as you hunt down clues in this exciting seek and find game. All right, let's give it a go, shall we? Controller for you. And a hat. Let's get investigating. Agents, your assignment is to track down and capture Mr. Smith. You've read the files. Let's get to investigating. Historical Museum or the Lost Tomb? What do you reckon, Jung? I'll just do the tomb. Find a dog. That's a cat. So it's like an electronic Where's Wally or I Spy. Oh, there's a dog. Find a cup. Come on, Jung, help me out. You're not pulling your weight. Come on, Jung, help me out. Okay, last one. Can't find it, might need to use a hint. Okay, that wasn't so much of a hint as showing me exactly where it was. Thanks for that. Well, I've played right to the end of Interpol, and I can honestly say I had more fun getting my wisdom teeth out. As if the endless point-and-click investigating screens weren't bad enough, when you complete a city, you're hit with this enormous amount of text, and it's a good thing you can skip it because the story is just woeful. It is marginally better in co-op, but that's only because it's over quicker. It's a classic case of big claim, lame game. I'm giving it 1 out of 10 rubber chaotic chickens. Junglist? Jungie! Oh, Junglist!
Did you solve puzzles and find the evil and destructive Dr. Chaos?
That I did. He's a still image with a ton of text, but I'd rather have those hours of my life back.
You know, there's so many great games on Xbox Live Arcade. I hope this one gets forgotten and fast. I suppose it's our first show. We should be nice. I'll give it 1 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Good game.
Twas the night before Christmas, and I've opened some presents early. First up, I got Rise of the Argonauts. Now, this one I'm a little nervous about because there's been no hype about it and it kind of slipped under the radar, and the main character looks a bit punsy. Second up, though, which makes me nervous about things in general, is Sonic Unleashed. So, yeah, let's see how this goes.
Oh, all right. Merry Christmas, everyone. I've been getting into the new titles. I'm checking out the new Prince of Persia now, and like most big Ubisoft games nowadays, they've gone for the open worlds, and the objective is to get from point A to point B. Sounds simple, is simple, probably a bit too simple. Most of what I'm doing right now is just hitting one of the face buttons. It's still enjoyable, still fun, but really easy. And I kind of thought towards the end that it would get a bit harder, you know, like the old Prince of Persias with some traps and stuff, but it's actually gotten easier. But I guess it's accessible and enjoyable by anyone. Let's see what Badge got me for Christmas, shall we? Underpants. Darth Maul underpants. Doesn't he think I have any? Oh well, now I got 2 pairs.
All right, it's Christmas Day. I've got 1 present left, and it's from Junglist. Let's see what he got me. It's a pretty average wrapping job. It's a block of cheese. Thanks, Jung. I'm an hour into Sonic Unleashed now, and it just got bad. I'm in this insanely boring and tedious level where you have to do a big QuickTime event, basically, to make missiles explode. And why not let me fly the plane? That's the only thing I want to do in this level is fly Tails' plane, and I can't do it. Who would rather push 20 buttons in a sequence for half an hour than fly a plane in a level? Weirdos, that's who.
This week's great moment in gaming goes to drawing the Master Sword for the first time in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. It was the moment Zelda fans had been waiting for, and the Nintendo 64 hardware was finally capable of giving. The chance to play a 3D adult version of the legendary Link. But it wasn't just cosmetic. The sword opened up a slew of new dungeons, a darker, more difficult world, time-traveling puzzles, horse archery, and more. Many of which were revolutionary gameplay elements, making drawing the Master Sword a great moment in gaming.
Good game.
Oh, no. You know, Jung, I think I've been playing Street Fighter for so long that it's actually starting to blend with my DNA. Right, at this point, I think I'm about 50% Blanca.
Yeah, I can definitely see the resemblance, Badge, but I'm just kind of looking forward to the next one, Street Fighter 4.
Well, it's not out on consoles for a couple of weeks, but how do you feel about a bit of friendly competition in the arcade?
Yeah, all right, you're on one condition.
What's that?
You pay for the credits.
All right. I've come to the arcade a little bit early to prepare for my one-on-one mano-a-mano street fight with Junglist, but I'm not 100% sure that I've got it in the bag, so unbeknownst to Junglist, I've recruited one of Sydney's top Street Fighter 4 players to give me some pointers. Henry Sham, welcome to Good Game.
Pleasure to be here.
Now tell me,
Is it as good as the original? Are fans going to come in and go, yes, this is Street Fighter?
Well, the original cast is back, so people definitely recognize it as soon as they see it, and it's its own game in its own right. So.
Who's your favorite character?
Probably M. Bison, the dictator.
Oh, he's quite hard to use, isn't he?
He's a bit tricky, yes. He's a bit tricky.
Now, mate, I need some tips. What can you tell me? What can I do to get through this match?
You just need good defense, good offense, and which character do you plan on using?
I'm thinking of using E Honda. Can you give me some points? What should I do with E Honda?
E Honda, huh? You gotta give him some of that headbutt.
How do I do that?
You hold back on the stick for a bit, and then forward punch.
All right.
And then you gotta give him some of the headbutt.
I was gonna use Blanca, but... Blanca. I'm getting snapped. oh, that's embarrassing. Yeah, all right, E Honda it is. He's big, he's tough. I think that'll do it.
He's tough.
All right, cool.
Let's do it.
That's good. We're on the ground. Just unblockable kind of. So back, forwards, punch, right? The holds are hard, man.
If Badge really wanted to keep his secret strategy secret, he should have paid more attention at secret keeping school. Because not only do I know about his strategy, I've got a pro of my own to teach me some advanced techniques. Benson, how you doing, man?
Good, mate. Thanks.
So I'm gonna go Ken here, and he's gonna go Honda.
Yep.
What should I keep in mind?
I mean, basically, you gotta keep in mind that Honda doesn't have any fireballs. Ken does, so you just want to keep him out, throw the fireballs at him, and when he tries to get in, just try to punish him for it. So, stick to the basics, really.
I remember years ago, Honda used to kill me with his little attack bias, just spamming it like that. How do I get around that?
If you know it's coming and you can do a dragon punch, you can dragon punch through it. But otherwise, you can wait for him to block it and then punish him afterwards. So, it's about being patient and just knowing what he's gonna do.
All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try and be patient. Let's do it.
All right. Oh, I'm sloppy. That's all right. Just move back, keep fireballing. Just don't let him get in.
Woo! I was patient. It paid off. Shall we dance?
We shall dance like merry men.
Maybe not like merry.
Kind of merry. Stay focused. Come on. Round. One more and I'm in.
Stop evading. I'm trying to kill you.
These jump kicks are owning me. No! How close is that?
In the bag, man.
Down to the wire. One match left.
Final round.
Oh! Slap him! If you know it's coming and you can do a dragon punch, you can dragon punch through it.
Ah!
Don't lose your composure, man.
I let you down. I'm sorry. I let you down.
It's all right.
Just needed to more. At least I got to land on his head once with my butt.
Yes,
and that's
right.
something I can cling on to. I got to put my butt.
Counts.
My butt was on Junk's face in a virtual game, and that's something to hold on to. Right?
That's all that counts.
Woo! Nice and close, but well done. And
Yeah, thanks, man.
I got my butt on your face, though. That's something, right? Well, it was a tough-fought battle, but in the end, I had to concede defeat.
Victory is mine. What do you guys think? Do we have a shot at the competitive scene?
I don't really think so, man.
No, I think you guys need to be schooled in the ways of Street Fighter.
I think you need to be schooled in the ways of Street Fighter.
Is that a challenge?
That's a challenge.
All right, bring it.
See some real action now, eh? All right. Well, I think thanks to Henry, we can call this one a draw.
No, I don't think we will.
But what did you think of the game?
Oh, it's pretty much the same old Street Fighter, isn't it? With some big graphical improvements and minor gameplay improvements like the focus attack, 4 new characters, same moves. What about you?
It's exactly what I expected it would be, just an old Street Fighter with a new coat of paint, but I guess that's a good thing.
Good game! With the movies still relatively fresh in people's memories, we've had quite a few Lord of the Rings games in the past few years, some good enough to stay on the shelf, others sent back to the fiery chasm from whence they came. But now comes Lord of the Rings Conquest from the makers of Star Wars Battlefront, which finally lets you play as either the free peoples of Middle-earth or a minion of the Dark Lord Sauron, whatever your political persuasion.
And it feels very much like Battlefront, especially when you're riding an Oliphant and it feels like an AT-AT, or if you're on a troll or an ant, it kind of feels like an AT-ST. You know, it is cool to play as Sauron and Saruman or the Nazgul, but you're going to have to wait till halfway through the game because you need to play the good campaign before you can play the bad.
If it's any consolation, the differences are only cosmetic, each side symmetrically comprised of 4 classes. The warrior is your typical hack and slash. The archer can knock down and slow down enemies with arrows. The scout can turn invisible and pull off a one-shot stealth kill. And the mage can hurl lightning, fireballs, and protect teammates with a shield.
And for once, all your abilities are available right from the start.
Yeah, that was a good touch, but without any of the flying around or space battles, do you think it was less of a game than Battlefront?
Yeah, I got that feeling too. It kind of felt like an assortment of scenarios as opposed to a full game. They've kept the combat pretty simple too. There's one combo and then each class has 3 special moves.
You can see how these classes will all come together as you're thrown into scenarios such as capture the flag with the one ring. But this synergy doesn't appear in single player. The AI is too stupid to back you up and often gets in your line of fire. Offline, you can expect to be a one-man team.
Multiplayer is where its strength is at though, and they've done a good job in making it beneficial to use your team-based abilities, which means if you don't use them, you're pretty much going to lose the match, so you can rely on randoms.
It's fun, but painfully obvious that you're connecting to America, and the high pings make it nearly unplayable. Things like stealth kills, which require you to be directly behind an enemy, are much harder to pull off than they should be.
And trying to attack from a mount is impossible because it requires timing.
And look at the delay on every projectile. You wouldn't be able to take much of that before getting frustrated.
It's a shame, and I guess the question needs to be asked, is the game good enough to overcome the lag?
Well, for me, it's a no. I mean, the AI isn't good enough in single player, and the lag is too much in multiplayer. It's designed well enough, but the Australian experience is pretty hard to recommend. I'm giving it 5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, lag's always a fun killer. I'm giving it 6 out of 10 rubber chickens. We reviewed the Xbox 360 version.
Good game!
Happy New Year! I'm celebrating with a replay of Uncharted Drake's Fortune and Heavenly Sword. I think I might have been a bit hard on Drake's the first time I played it because on an easier difficulty setting, it's a lot more fun. I've given up on Rise of the Argonauts, too much frame skipping and way too much backtracking, which is a shame because I was getting into the story. Anyway, back to Drake's.
All right, well, this one didn't really get too much coverage, I think, because it came out just as we were going on a break, but I can't stop playing it. It's Valkyria Chronicles. It's tactical, it's addictive, it's 3 a.m. The hand-drawn style makes it feel really unique, and it's kind of like an anime version of World War II. And a lot of games nowadays say they've got 50 hours on the back of the box, but most of them come nowhere near that. This one pretty much took me about 50 hours to beat. I'm loving it. I think it's pretty much the best game I've played so far this holidays. All right, it's the last day of holidays, and I know I should probably be getting outside or something, but I opened the window the other day and got a bit of a sunburn. And besides, this World of Goo is awesome. It's just like this little engineering game. You use your goos to build bridges and towers towards a pipe. The less goos you use, the more maggots of the pipe, the higher your score. Couldn't be simpler. I'm only on chapter 2 though. Let me keep on playing. Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, it's kind of a shame this game came out over the break, otherwise we would have loved to review it. I actually played the PC and the Wii versions, and for once the Wii version is better. And you know, it's just this little downloadable game, but I've had much more fun with this than I have most big AAA titles. World of Good.
Well, it's back to the Good Game office tomorrow, and it's a good thing too, because I'm out of games to play. All I have are some random DS ones, and I don't know, it seems like there's a lot of DS games out there that are not really games, more like cooking and yoga, and I'm not really into that sort of stuff. Besides, my cat ate my DS stylus, so I think I might be stuck with Advance Wars anyway. Until I see you, gamers, Bajo out.
So did you guess the game for this week? It was J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings Volume 1 for Super Nintendo.
It wasn't the first game to be based on the books, but it was the only Hobbit-themed game to appear during the 16-bit console era. It saw you controlling Frodo Baggins as he walks here and there all over the land of Middle-earth, fighting some goblins and having multiple breakfasts as you went along. Well, that's it for our first episode of the year. Feels good to be back.
Indeed it does. And if you're worried about the current world economic situation affecting game releases, think again, because February promises to deliver some big ones.
Killzone 2 finally touching down. Never mind saving the human race. In this futuristic shooter, we're on the attack. Could this be the PS3's best FPS yet?
Sometime in the next year, Blizzard are expected to unleash StarCraft 2, and who wants to go up against that? Which is why Dawn of War 2 is just around the corner. But it's radically different. Is it a change for the better? Developer Relic has pulled it off before. You'll have to watch next week to find out.
As always, we're keen to hear your suggestions and feedback, so hit up the forum on the Good Game website and join the community. We've got all year now, so let's shape this show to how you want it. Until that time, gamers, Junglist out.
Bajo out.
No, I'm intolerant.
Lactose intolerant?